Welcome to the top 3 LThan3 videos. Snazzy title, don't you think, Luke?
Yeah.
There you go. So, we decided to kind of wrap up this year that we would bring together all 4 of our, main content guys and kind of get them each to talk about their top 3 games that really kind of grabbed them or that they fell in love with over the past year. This isn't a, game of the year thing. This is more just a case of
3
these
of
are
our
games
favourites.
that I love.
3 games that got a hold of us. It was difficult to come up with, to nail down 3 for me. So, particularly 3 of my favourites.
They are the quality street of the games from this year, if you will. So, Mass Effect 3 is playing in the background, but whose list could this one be to?
Who else could this
Mr.
list
Surge.
belong to? Yes,
How are you?
indeed.
How are you, Mr. Surge?
I'm alright. I'm very tired at the moment. It's been a very long day, but I've been looking forward to making this video, telling you guys about my 3 favourite games of this year.
It's that Christmas thing, man. It's tiring work.
I know, right?
So Mass Effect 3 is on your list. Do I get to ask the troll-tastic question of what colour ending did you pick?
If you have to know, I picked the red one because,
Red ones go faster?
Red ones go... No, because I don't like my endings to be short. Mostly because, well, I just don't like the Reapers, to be honest. I don't even want them to even exist anymore, so they can just, go suck a big fat one and not exist anymore. So I picked the red one, the destroy one.
Green ending. Transhumanist for the win.
So
Always a technology one.
you picked Mass Effect 3. Why did you fall in love with this game?
I fell in love with the very first Mass Effect at quite a young age. I think I was about 10 when I played the first one. I can't remember. It was a while ago. And I've been a big fan of the entire trilogy ever since. Like, Mass Effect 1 was great. Mass Effect 2, even better. Mass Effect 3, we'll have to see. So far, though, bloody amazing in my opinion. I think it's one of the best sci-fi games I've played so far.
See, I didn't play any of the multiplayer. I only played through the story.
Yeah, this is the cooperative multiplayer in the end. This is the first time they've added multiplayer into Mass Effect. It's usually a single-player RPG.
Yeah, that's where
third-person shooter / RPG. But they added a co-op multiplayer into this one, and it's a kind of a horde mode survival
like waves.
experience. You get waves of enemies. You get some objectives every now and again that you have to complete, and it's really fluid and really well done. Like, everyone was really worried for this game about the multiplayer, and it's not the case. It's really well done, really polished. It's a stellar experience.
I'm impressed to see them still supporting the multiplayer. In single player games, you always have the worrying feeling of the multiplayer's just tacked on.
You get those single player games and you get the tacked on multiplayer, but no, there's actually an event going on. I think it started on the 21st. It was like a end of the galaxy themed event thing where you had to do a certain amount of damage to other forces. Yeah.
You like diving off
Christmas
that
Eve, isn't it?
little ledge there as well, don't you?
Good fun. Front flips are awesome.
So tell us more about your experiences in the single player, what you truly fell in love with.
Well, I really fell in love with just the whole single player. The characters in the game are all really well fleshed out, really believable. You can really get attached to the characters, which is what makes you sad when you lose them, because it's so easy to lose characters in the game.
See, my Mass Effect 3 was filled with rather interesting deaths, but I still remember to this very day, in Mass Effect 2 at the end, I lost Tali, and she got shot right in the face, and it was one of the most shocking moments in video games for me. Like, I just wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. Well, like in Mass Effect 2, where you have the survival mission, Mass Effect 3 has a number of places where you can lose even more squad mates than before. And the squad mates that die in Mass Effect 2, they don't come back. They get replaced by Not Mordin, for instance.
Hey, Not Mordin was fantastic.
Yeah, I will admit Not Mordin was one of the better replacements. But it still just doesn't fill the same role as Mordin. I miss that Gilbert and Sullivan, man.
Did you not encounter Not Mordin?
Nope, I kept everyone alive.
I did as well. I kept everybody alive.
What do you know of Not Mordin?
Nothing. This is the first I've heard of Not Mordin.
So
I've heard about his adventures with the
Krogan sex life.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Krogan sex life lines. Yeah, I heard that.
You ask him about Krogan replication, and he stood there talking to Krogans about it. And he when like the camera pans back,
When he finishes, he's just stood there, just kind of in his own little world,
grinning, and then it pans around to you, and you just kind of have this mortified expression on your face.
Yeah. It's just those little moments like that. There's tons of these little moments. In the first game, there wasn't really much interaction with the characters. Everything seemed a little distant. By the third one, like, you were getting some truly intimate moments with some of the characters. You know, you really
Get attached.
You really get to know them. You understand the relationship between them, and it was something that just really struck me. It's like, oh my god, this I've never really seen this in a game before. I've never become this attached to someone. I don't want to see this person die.
I think that was why people had such high hopes for other BioWare games. Not gonna get specific and poke holes in anything, but other BioWare games this is where they really bought their credit, as it were, was in how well the characters were developed in the Mass Effect games.
And in Dragon Age.
I was going to say this, and between this and Dragon Age,
but to be fair, like even
the humour
you go back
as well,
to
the
KOTOR,
little snide comments and the little bits of humour were always the things that got me, both again in this and Dragon Age.
Mm-hmm. But you go back to like KOTOR, it's just something that BioWare is really good at.
Yeah, they are really good at character development, telling a story.
Yeah,
telling a story is definitely their forte.
Yeah, using them to tell stories.
So share some experiences with us, because any of your experiences that you had in Mass Effect 3 are going to be completely different to the ones that we had in our games.
Yeah, because of the way the choices that you make during the previous games can completely affect what happens in Mass Effect 3. My game and your game could be completely freaking different. Like in mine, I saved the Rachni Queen.
Yeah.
In Mass Effect 1, and that came back in Mass Effect 3.
I
had to save her again, mine, but
Yeah.
Did you have any tearful moments in your Mass Effect 3 though? Was there any points where you either were given a choice that you didn't want to make?
There were.
Or...
That was another thing that really surprised me. There were moments. Yeah, you can even see us supporting it now.
Christmas
It's a Christmas present for an upload. Yeah. There were moments where it's just like, I don't know what to do. Just decide for me, game. I can't make up my mind in this situation. There were definitely at least 3 off the top of my head, but I won't mention because some people out there still haven't played the game, and if you haven't, what are you doing? Go pick it up.
Worth picking it up and playing it.
That's the point of this video.
That's the thing with Mass Effect, though, as everybody already knows. Non-spoilers. Yeah, the game plays very differently, depending on what your choices in the first 2 have been. Mm-hmm. But your ending's going to be one of 3.
Yeah, the big controversy about the ending, that none of the choices make any sense.
The DLC does a lot.
The extended cut DLC, admittedly, the one that adds to the ending without ruining the artist's integrity, so to speak, does add a lot to the ending that really ties everything together. I'm happy with it now.
I haven't seen the new endings, to be fair. I should probably go back and maybe play through it again.
They're not that much different. There's a little bit extra, but it just kind of explains why this happens, why happens.
Yeah, okay. Fills in a few more.
Yeah, it fills in all the blanks. I'm not going to say anything because spoilers. But yeah, it just ties everything together much better than the original ending.
So, favourite character then?
Favourite character? I'd have to say Tali. I'm not going to say love interest.
Tali's dead,
but
so very dead.
Oh, you didn't take care of your Quarian, man.
She was doing the psychic thing in 2, and she wasn't loyal because of a falling out. And so when it came to the big door closing, she was trying to close the door and got shot right in the face through the gap in the door.
Damn.
It was literally out of nowhere, bolter shell, bam, dead.
Yeah, Mass Effect, definitely one of my games of 2012. Stellar shooter / RPG. Absolutely amazing. Fitting end to the trilogy, and I'm looking forward to what BioWare can do with the universe in the next game that they're no doubt developing as we speak.
Well, yeah, I mean, they set it up.
Are they going to...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how are they going to do it?
It was a grandfather talking to his grandson, I believe, and it was essentially him telling the grandkids stories of Commander Shepard,
About how
space
they-
Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Commander Shepard, it was the Shepherd.
the Shepherd,
So how
space
the
Chuck
universe that
Norris.
they come to live in now, which you only okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. That could be pretty good.
Of course, tons of people are going to be like, well, how do you keep it continuous and all this stuff, but
You don't
we'll
have
see.
to. It's in another timeline. That's
Yeah.
the advantage to messing with time like that.
So, shall we move on to your next game then, Serge?
Yes. My second game of 2012, would happen to be Elemental Fallen Enchantress. Now, the best way I can describe Elemental Fallen Enchantress is that it's 2 parts Civ, 1 part Heroes of Might and Magic. That's the best way I can sum it up.
All
Okay.
parts time-eating vortex.
Oh god, yes. All parts time. You want to know how long I've been playing this game here alone? I think this game's eaten about 6 hours so far.
Good God.
I've just lost track, really. I'm trying to recount when I...
What speed are you on?
What speed? Normal speed. This is just a normal speed game, and it's been going for several bloody hours.
To be fair, it sounds like one of the
It's a
games on
turn-based
my list.
strategy.
It sounds like one of the games on my list, and I'm going to not say anything. No. But it
I'll have to wait for his part. Hooray. A little bit of a hint for you
Coming
there.
soon.
Yeah.
Coming soon to a YouTube near you.
TBA.
So yeah, this is a turn-based strategy game with a fantasy RPG spin. So it's a big time sink, like most
Lord
turn-based
Surgison's
games.
army.
Yes, and the emphasis is on making the game what you want it to be. There is a lot of customization in this game. A lot. I mean, you see this here. This is a typical battle situation here.
Okay.
Most of those units you see there, they are all customized. They are all custom units that I have made, bar a couple. Of course, the enemy ones are the ones the enemy AI has made to try and counter the ones that I made.
That's pretty cool. I mean, the battle looks different to Civ already.
Yeah,
'cause
it's
you
not
don't
like
get
it's not
this
like
kind
Civ's
of-
combat where you get the just the they hit each other and then some people die and then you go back. This is much more of a
I roll a dice, my number came up 8. You rolled a dice, your number came up 9. You win. Oh.
Yeah, I lose.
so the combat brings you into this kind of turn-based, much more action-packed, so to speak.
But it just scales it in. So
Well, yeah, it
higher
scales it
resolution,
in.
as it were. You make smaller micromanagement choices that you don't get to make in Civ.
I'm trying to tame this ogre, and it's just like, no, you can't tame that. Because my sovereign has the ability to actually...
Yeah, mine has those. The like silver tongue ability to be able to coax things to your
Yes,
side.
the silver
and all
tongue
that.
ability.
I tried to use my silver tongue ability
Yeah.
on an enemy unit
Because
that
he's a
was
diplomat.
Like, yeah, I tried using mine on. I think it was like the leader of some bandit squad or something that I randomly stumbled upon, and I was like, I will try to silver tongue him. So I ran my sorcerer that has very little health all the way up next to him. I was like, I am Cassian. I want you
In my
to
army."
join me. You speak same language? We friends, yes? And the guy literally turned around and went, what are you on about, mate? And hit
Oh,
me
you can hit
right
me.
in the face.
But yeah, the diplomat, that's one of the special things that you can customize your sovereign with, because the sovereign is you in the game. That's another thing that's different to other guys. You have a main character
So you have a
as your
character you
leader.
play
That
with.
guy who's sat atop the wolf is a representation of me, and you can level him up and he can learn different abilities as he progresses, and you can be custom tailored right from the start to suit a specific strategy or whatever.
Wow. So it's
Hang
very,
on.
very customizable.
Serge, I have to ask something.
Oh, what is that, Dave?
You said that this was an in-game representation of you, yeah?
Yep. So I do have awesome brown spiky hair, and I ride a wolf
I was about to say, the last time I
Rides a
saw
wolf
you,
in the
you
battle.
didn't have a wolf.
Oh,
when
well,
did you
things,
get the
things
wolf?
change, Dave. Things change. Early Christmas present.
Early Christmas present.
Yep.
Who gets you a wolf? Where do you keep it?
Garden.
In the garden.
in a shed. You can't keep that in a shed.
Yeah.
Bandits will come along and steal it. They'll just be like, look at this. Someone like a perfectly good wolf in this shed.
Yeah.
Perfectly good wolf.
You make your own civ, or you choose from 8 different ones that are already made, which are aligned to either the kingdom, which is kind of the good guys, they like life and all this stuff. You know, life, then they have a big focus on individual freedoms and, you know, all that kind of thing. And then you've got...
So it's like, hang on, so it's like duct tape. You got a light side and a dark side.
Pretty much, yeah. And the dark side is the empire, which is the power is everything. You enjoy power, power is good for you, etc. Drink a cup of delicious power, it's good for you.
Yeah, they get death magic.
Yeah, whereas the
my
kingdom
favourite.
get life magic, which is awesome.
Which is a pain in the ass, and it's like, hi, we heal. It's just like, oh, fantastic. What do I get? I get death magic. Have a shadow bolt. It's just like, that's great.
I don't know,
guys,
some of those
we
curses
heal.
can really screw you up.
Some of the curses are pretty good.
But I'm just going to heal.
So, yeah. Another one of the more fantasy elements is the fact that this game does include a magic system, unlike Civ, which doesn't have magic, really.
Well, no.
Unless you mod it, but base game doesn't have magic.
You can do some serious mod stuff. Probably can't do this. I'd imagine the modding.
Another story for
crazy.
another time, I think.
See, now, the one thing
scope
that
of
grabbed
this.
me about Fallen Enchantress, like, I've been playing this game a lot as well, and it only narrowly missed my top list.
Only narrowly.
Yeah, but I loved the questing and like exploration systems. That
Yeah.
I felt when I was playing Civ that the only real reason to explore was to essentially
Find the goodie huts.
find out where my enemies were and if I was missing any kind of important resource. Because the goodie huts, while kind of helpful, weren't normally going to give you anything amazingly fantastic. Whereas in this,
In this, you can find quests which will give you, may or may not give you a really powerful item that your characters can equip.
or the wolf that you're riding around on, and you
I
know,
found
all
that.
that kind
I found
of
that
stuff.
in a random camp somewhere. I was looking around and I found a group of bandits and I killed them and I explored the camp and this warg came out and he seemed friendly, so I used him as a pet and now I have a warg.
They had a
for it.
perfectly good wolf in a shed.
Yeah, you just,
What
you
is
just
it?
found,
So that
found this
probably
wolf in the
happens
shed.
more often than you'd think.
But like,
be surprised.
the exploration in this game is much more rewarding or punishing as well than Civ.
Yes.
I mean, if you go wandering, you can find just random stuff.
I remember
or you
that
can find
random
like
game you were
wandering
starting,
armies
Dave.
or
That
dragons.
random game you started, and oh look, a cave right outside me starting city. Let's go and have a look what's in the cave. Ah, it's a dragon.
Oh god, it's death. Yeah.
I had the exiled ogre. That was a good one. Start my city. There is a spider on my borders and an exiled ogre.
Yeah,
It's like,
it is not an easy game. In comparison to Civ, you have to really be careful where you pick your fights, because the environment can and will screw you
F
up.
you up.
Yeah, it will chew you up and spit you out in several pieces.
So you're attacking some random town here?
Yeah, I'm attacking the Empire of the Yithril because they declared war on me for some reason.
What are these funny little basket things? Are these light towers?
They're like little cities called outposts. You can build main cities on fertile land. See those little icons up there?
Yeah.
They're where you can build cities. Whereas if there's resources, you know, like the gold and silk and stuff,
You just want a little
off that,
outpost.
you can build a little outpost to actually capture the stuff. Such as the magic nodes, which allow you to gain more mana and cast spells quicker.
And get summonable creatures. That was one of the things that I had in mind. All the magic notes that I took, I then ended up getting.
Oh yeah, that's one of the
elementals
unique
and stuff.
abilities of your
Yeah.
faction.
I
You can
see.
customize factions to have specific abilities to tailor to your specific playstyle. For instance, these guys have a special defensive trait which allows them to equip one-handed spears, whereas they're normally two-handed, and shields, so they can be a lot more defensive, as the name implies.
The one great thing I found when it came to customization from my point of view, I'm not sure if you'll agree with me on this one or not, Serge, but normally in games like this, you know, when you have the ability to create your own units and you have all this wonderful freedom, there's normally a best way of doing something.
Yep.
You know, min-maxers always will come into this, or you'll sit there and you'll crunch the numbers and you'll be like, no, this one. But everything in this seems like everything in this is basically overpowered. Everything in this is good.
It's like, I want all of this stuff. Why? Because it's all good. I do have to admit there is some stuff that I would feel is better than others. For instance, there's a trait for your civilization called Master Scouts, which removes the movement penalty from all rough terrain for everyone. I feel that's pretty powerful.
There's another trait, I think it's for your faction, where all units have like plus 25% dodge.
Yep, that'll be the lucky one. Plus 25% dodge and plus 25% accuracy. Like,
yeah, and it's like, that's quite powerful. But then you compare it to some of the other things that you can get, and it's just absurd. Like, they are all pretty strong.
Mm-hmm. They really do the customization really well. There is nothing really that you'll take that will screw you up. Like, there isn't a wrong choice. There's just a different choice.
It all depends on how you play it.
It all depends on how you want to play it. If you want to be a military nation and conquer everyone, or if you want to be a magic nation and create the spell of making, which will allow you to take over all the magic in the world, and basically just lead everyone on a friggin' string. You can
spell of making.
Yeah, you can even tailor your civilization.
Like science victory.
Yeah, it is pretty much like the science victory, the comparable science victory. You can even tailor your civilization towards doing quests and getting quest rewards so that you can complete the master quest, which is like a raid from an MMO.
Awesome.
It's really good.
I always normally go for the wipe them out, all of them option.
Yeah,
and it never normally works because I'm just going to say very quickly, the NPC faction of the Tarths can go and suck one. They always stop me.
Always.
They are the counter to your death magic, it would appear.
I'm not sure who your arch nemesis is.
I think it's the Yithril. And every time when I'm playing a kingdom, it's the Yithril. It's just like, oi, you, mate, we're at war now. What did I do?
You
got the wrong colour. Your land's too green, mate.
So do you have any final points to say before we check out whatever your last game is?
If you like turn-based strategy and you're looking for something that has a more fantasy edge, or if you're just looking for a different turn-based strategy game, something with a unique spin, you would do yourself a disservice to not pick this up, to be honest.
Especially if you have huge amounts of time on your hands.
I was about to say, or if you wake up in the morning and just think to yourself, I have way too much free time. How can I get rid of some of this?
Yeah.
So let's see what's next.
My third and final game.
Do we get a drum roll or anything?
Drum roll, please. My third and final game is, of course, Torchlight 2, the sequel to Torchlight by Runic. Now,
see, I've not played this, if I'm brutally honest.
Really?
Like, I picked it up, I kind of experienced a little bit of it, but this one's completely, like, I played 1, and I played Diablo 3, and I just kind of
You played Diablo 3. I played Diablo 3. This is way better. This is everything Diablo. This is everything.
Straight out of there, straight into the internet. It's way better.
I'll say it. It's way better. This is everything Diablo 3 should have been.
Yeah, but
it's everything that was fun about
I
too.
just feel burnt out on ARPGs.
No, I was for a while. I've only
there was a
played this
big. You can only really play one at a time, and Diablo 3 did beat Torchlight 2 to the punch early on in the year. But this came out, and I picked it up in a sale, and I was like, Torchlight 2, I'll give it a go. So far, completely sucked in, enjoying it immensely.
I think if I was to pick this up to actually play, I would probably go hardcore, which means that any time I stop playing, I would then stop playing.
Yeah.
Because when you play it as hardcore, you can't pick it up after you've stopped playing it because it's like, oh, I might die and lose my character.
Yeah. So of course it's a ARPG, as you can see. It's got the top-down screen and lots of hacking, lots and lots of slashing, many enemies, many loots.
So what's the full thing that you keep using?
Oh, that's my Berserker's specific ability. There are 4 classes you can choose from. The Berserker, which is like the class I'm playing right now, the slash everything. There's the Outlander, who's the ranged shooty guns
Like
blazing
DOT
character.
and poison kind of.
There's the Ember Mage, who's your classic sorcerer type.
Standard spellcaster.
Stand at the back, cast all power spells. And then there's the Engineer, who's a tank character, can also build things like turrets and robots.
Tank
and
slash pet
hits
class.
very hard with a big wrench.
Is that a werewolf?
Yep. And you...
Yeah, everybody has a pet as well. Which
Yeah.
keeps confusing the life out of me in the game.
Can you explain that ability to me a bit more then, Serge?
Yeah, so my Berserker is tailored to a specific tree, because there are 3 trees that you can choose from when you customize and you level up and pick skills for your character. And my Berserker's gone down the... I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a shadow wolf tree, so to speak. I get abilities where I can turn into a shadow wolf and run around causing people to bleed and stealing their health and doing other kinds of generally nasty things to the enemy.
Standard wolf-like things, apart from living in a shed.
No, there's no living in a shed. You don't get time for settling down when you're playing an ARPG. Everything's going too quickly.
That's
How will you sell all that loot in the shed? There's
I know,
no
right?
vendors in there.
Well, fortunately, you can get your pet to sell it, because this game has a pet system. You get to choose from a wide variety of pets, such as the panther that I have. You can get a British bulldog, or you can get a chicken dragon thing.
I've got one of those.
Now I have to ask though, I'm not sure if you played Torchlight 1, Serge, did you?
No, I'm afraid not. I was put off of
Okay.
it because of the lack of multiplayer, to be honest.
Does Torchlight 2 have a pet that will allow me to shoot bees from its mouth?
Well, that's the thing. Because there are also, on top of your class, there are a bunch of generic skills that you can learn that both you and your pet can be taught, such as shooting a fireball out of your ass, or being
Shooting
better.
bees out of their mouth?
I haven't encountered bees yet. Unfortunately, I've yet to encounter bees out of
As
your
yet
face.
undiscovered on
Yeah.
the bees.
I
To
am
be discovered.
disappointed. I am disappointed.
Well, I haven't found it yet,
Watch
but I'll
this
keep
space.
looking just for you.
To be fair though, it wasn't in Torchlight 1 when it first came out. I believe they patched it in. It was you could buy a scroll that allowed you to give your pet the ability to shoot bees from its mouth.
Yeah,
That
that would
is
be
awesome.
effectively the same thing if they put. I'd imagine they will.
I look forward to
They
that
might
if that's
patch it
coming
in.
in.
I believe it was like they were showing off the mod system for it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
have you tried the mods for Torchlight 2? Are
I
they
haven't-
as good as they are
I
for
haven't
1 or?
actually managed to find very many of the mods. I've been looking because, I'm one of these people that's like, yeah, I enjoy the base game, but what's the community done to improve it? Like with Skyrim and XCOM and stuff,
Skyrim.
what has the community done to make this experience even better? And so far, I haven't really found any mods. I've been looking high and low, but it just seems to be a non-existent modding community. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Maybe they're just hiding from me.
There was
You know what you like.
Torch buff or whatever it was the way of getting them in 1. I think I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's
I
something
can't really,
similar
I
to
can't
that
really
in
say
2.
anything about the mods because I can't find them. I'll find them eventually. Maybe when I'm done with the game, which I don't think it'll be a long time.
That's something else. We're still playing through a three-player multiplayer game on the LAN. So
Yeah, when we're not doing anything,
When we're
me and
not playing
Xander are
through a
playing through
single-
Torchlight because it's
The mods for 1 were really good. So if 2 is anything to go by in that regard,
well, Runic did
there
say
will
that
be
they
some
were
amazing
supporting
ones.
modding heavily.
They always will, because it's one of the great things about the game. I mean, for 1, people brought in like extra classes and loot and spells and all kinds of stuff. So I'm really intrigued to see what they do with 2 down the line.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to its future. It only came out in September, but I'm guessing it's already got some fairly good mods. I just need to find them one day.
Well, they may not have brought out the full set of modding tools yet.
yeah, the full FA.
I think they were holding some of them back. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But what's the bar in the middle of your screen?
Ah, yes,
Is
that
your
is a
werewolf there?
specific.
The chart. Oh, skills
Class.
quickly on the right.
Oh, yeah,
side,
'cause
get a
it's
quick look.
Wolf shade.
Yeah, those are all the skills I've learned in the purple tree. I'll just call it the purple one, the moon one. So yeah, that bar in the
Purpley.
middle of the screen is a unique bar to my class, and it's called Berserking, I think it is.
Every class has a charge bar, but they have it has a different function depending on the class.
So for the Berserker, more people you hit fills up that bar, and once that bar gets full, you enter a Berserker Rage, which will cause you to move faster, and each one of your attacks will be a crit, which causes some very satisfying...
Is that the glowy thing around your hand?
Yeah.
That's why
glowy
people
effect
keep
around my hand.
exploding into chunks everywhere when you hit them with that giant green spear.
Yep. And it's, of course, unique for every single class. For instance, the Engineer has a charge bar that you gain pips along it to enhance your skills that are expended when you use the powered up versions of the skills. The Outlander gets increases to his attack speed and crit and stuff the higher the bar is filled. So it's unique for each class.
My mage gets free skills. All of a sudden, things stop casting mana, so I can just start throwing the big stuff out without any heat at all as to what it costs.
Provided you don't die first.
Yeah, provided I don't get squished on the bottom of something's boot in a rather greasy smear kind of way. Happens far too often. You know me, I'm always the glass cannon spec.
Yeah. The combat in this game is very, very fast paced.
Isn't it just?
Yeah, it feels quicker than Diablo. You have to really think with your fingers.
Did you play Diablo?
I did play through Diablo 3 a couple of times. I didn't complete it on the impossible difficulty because I'm a horrible casual like that. But
What in your mind makes this better?
what makes this better is that just the ability to hit. It's just the little things. For instance, with this spear, I can hit multiple people in melee combat. You can't do that in Diablo. At least not
with
from
the
memory.
barbarian.
For me,
You
it
could.
feels more like a proper RPG because you can't just go and respec. You
Yeah,
can
that's
pull out
another
the
thing.
last 3 points you placed, but that's it. Once you place like another point, that 4th point cannot be undone. Ever. That's it. Permanent.
Yeah. You can screw up a character if you level them wrong. I mean, if you level something and you go, oh crap, I
Well,
wanted
it's
to go
not that level. They never. Even 1 point in a skill is still useful because all the skills level up with you. Like their damage increases, but you get the range will. The range kind of stays the same. But if you put more points in, you'll get a bigger range and better secondary effects, and maybe it'll cost less. It's very clever how they've done the skill system.
Yeah.
Much better than Diablo's, in my opinion. Because you can be anything you want in Diablo. There's no. You know what I mean? I've got a mage, right? Okay, so you've got one of everything. Ugh.
So that's it. That is my top 3 games of this year. Quick recap. We had Mass Effect 3, Torchlight 2, and Elemental Fallen Enchantress. I do have a few honourable mentions, ones that almost made the list, but for whatever reason, they just couldn't be on. The first one would be Dark Souls. Fantastic game, but
Fair enough.
yeah.
Next.
The second one is, of course, XCOM, and the third one is Borderlands 2.
Wow.
That is my top 3 of the year.
So there you go, Serge's top 3 games of 2012. I hope you enjoyed his list, and I hope you enjoy the other ones as well. Peace.